turning to drugs and alcohol at the age of 13, I guess it wasn't that hard because my dad was a bootlegger, and seeing all the alcoholics and drug addicts coming around there, because basically it was a gambling house. So I kind of like fell in line. But my mom, I mean, she did the best that she could, trying to raise 5 kids by herself. Cocaine at the age of 19 was something new. A friend of mine introduced me to it, and it was just supposed to be a recreational drug. But I ended up getting hooked. It just escalated and just got out of control. It put me at the bottom. It put me so far at the bottom where I lost everything. Because once you get deeply into drugs, you stop working. You don't want any more responsibility. You want the easy way out of doing things, and that turns into stealing. One night it was late, ran out of money, went into somebody's house and stole a television set. That's how I ended up spending time in jail. Spent 2 weeks in jail and got out on my own reconnaissance, because I never had a police record before. About a month after I gotten out of jail, I felt myself slipping, so I signed up for a 31-day program at Georgia Regional Drug and Alcohol Program. It had a positive effect on me, but I don't think I really took the program serious 100%, because years later I relapsed, and what you put in the program is what you get out. I was riding the city bus one morning, going to work after I had got out of rehab, and she was sitting on the city bus.
Every morning I would get on the bus, and he would be sitting at the back of the bus, and I would be at the front of the bus.
And for some reason, I just kept staring at her.
I would always look in the back of the bus, and James would always be staring at me, and this man staring at me is driving me insane. So that went on for about a week or 2.
I went to the store and bought a dozen of roses before the store closed, and I couldn't wait to get up the next morning. I probably didn't sleep at all.
I got on the bus one morning, and he had put roses in my seat. And not only had he put roses in my seat, he was in my seat, and he knew that was my seat.
And I could feel the giggling from the older people, just smiling and laughing, because they knew something. They knew that love was in the air, And when she got on, she looked at me and she looked back like,
this is not going to work. You don't know me. You need to just move to the back of the bus where you usually sit and leave me alone. But he did not. He kept on at me. He did give me the roses, and we wrote letters to each other on a daily basis.
I felt like the first time I seen her, I knew that I was gonna marry her. I even told her that, and she like, you crazy. I'm like, no, you gonna see now, you gonna be my wife. And she kept denying it. But I knew, because I had always prayed to God within those, when I had my sobriety, to send me a good woman, and there she was. Only thing I had to do now was win over. And here we are now, 17 years later, still married and very happy with 3 great kids.
I started attending the Salvation Army Church in 2003, and I was an employee there, working in the accounting department. Beth approached me about going to church there, and I said, I'll come. So I did go.
And my wife asked me to come with her, which I really didn't want to, but I came, and when I walked through the door, I felt at home. It was just like troubles was lifted off of my shoulders, the acceptance, which I have never felt before in my life. I became a soldier in the church because I felt I had a calling. I felt I had a calling to give back, because there's so many kids in our church who have single parents, and me myself coming from a home with just a single parent, I felt like God had called me to do more. I wanted to make a difference. After a while, I was let go from my employer, and the effect that it had on my life was devastating. It was a great letdown to my family, because then I had to start doing in and odd jobs, whether I was in good health or not. I mean, I work, get paid by the day, or go out and just do labor for anyone just to make the ends meet. That put me back where I felt like, back where I've come from, back to nothing, back to square one. Everything we had been working hard for was at a total loss. I turned back to cocaine because I couldn't. I looked for a job and I couldn't find one, and the pressure just mounted, and I wasn't equipped to deal with that situation. So I guess I still wasn't handling life on life terms. I was no longer the man that I wanted to be.
James' addiction affected our relationship. Oh, it was tough. It was tough not only for me, but on our kids as well.
I would lie to my wife. I would lie to my friends. I would cheat. I would steal, things from around the house. Everything just went backwards.
Only thing I wanted to do is just encourage my children at that time that we were going to be fine, that their father was going to be fine, and I turned a lot to the church and to my church family at Salvation Army.
At that point, I really wasn't too sure about what I wanted to do, so I had a conversation with the core officers then, was Major Chip Hall, about leaving my wife and going into a program.
And I said, James, if you just can't get your life right, I'm going to just get a divorce. But I didn't go through with it because James eventually decided to go to the ARC.
Major Hall called up there and they had me a bed, so I packed up my clothes and he took me to the bus station, and I entered that program, and I was trying to figure out an angle, just like trying to figure out an angle on everything else. But up there was no angles because what you see was what you got. It was either their way or no way. So I came to terms that this is where I wanted to be. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of fighting and struggling going on. And I thought I really wanted to be there, but I didn't. I was laying in bed one night and this light came through the ceiling, and it dawned on me, and it came and just got right in my face, and it was telling me, like, James, be still. This is where you need to be. You can feel God's presence in the building. And basically what he told me in that time period was James, you know what you need to do. You have been here before. In your life, you have been in this program, you know the basics, you are equipped, you have been equipped with the knowledge and the things in your life that you need to know to use to stay clean and sober. And that was the beginning of the new chapter in my life. I got on the bus at 2 o'clock that morning. I called her the next morning and told her that I was headed, I'm coming back home, and to meet me at the bus station. When we finally connected, it was just like seeing her on the bus all over again. I wish I'd had a dozen of roses then, but I didn't.
I was blown away, really. Words can't even describe how he had changed, not only for the best for a father as with our children, but as a spouse as well. He was also really strong in his Christian walk with God. He felt that he wanted to be a better man for us, as a father, as the head of the household. And I felt that James was really reaching out to be a better man. He wanted to strongly be involved back into the church. I encouraged him to tell his testimony. At that time, he didn't want to get up to do that, but I felt that James had come a long way and he needed to share that with others.
I'm so involved now with things that are going on in the church and in the community, and with the men in our Center Hope program. The people that I was trying not to be like, even though I wear this uniform, I'm still one of them because it's embedded in me, because I'm still an addict, but I'm a recovering addict. So we have that connection. We'll probably have that connection until I die. And that keeps me going and focused on the things that I need to do to be able to help people like that.
We are called to be Salvation Army officers, and I felt that we needed to take upon our calling at that particular time.
The Salvation Army, I'm thankful for everything. It has given me structure. It's gave me my life calling. It put me back on track. The big lesson people can learn from my story is it doesn't matter about status. God has to be the head in your life. You have to believe and you have to have faith. No matter how far you're down, you have to have faith that you can get up. Because there are plenty of people out there willing to help you if you're willing to reach out.